Okay, right. Good afternoon, everyone. What is the last topic? V model, right? Okay. Online students, is that the screen is visible? Online students can respond in the chat window. All the online students can respond in the chat window. Right. Let's complete on that. So which we have been taking care about in implementing with SDLC models, right? So the one we have been taking care about working with SDLC process, and then we have been taking care about in working with SDLC models. As part of SDLC models, what is the first one we got? Waterfall model. After that, V model. After that, Agile model. It's not like just only these three particular models. We got other models also available. We have been taking care about in implementing or working with these particular models here. So this particular SDLC models, which model need to be get used, it's totally depends on that particular project, or it will depends on that particular client. We are not having any restrictions, or we are not having any conditions in working with any of the model. Based on that project requirement or based on that particular client requirement, it will be decided that what is a model need to be followed. But it can be any model, the way of implementing development activities or the steps to be followed for testing activities, that will be the same. Because of V model or because of Agile or any other model, your Java syntax or testing step, it's not like make with the difference. But when you're considering these particular models, from one particular model to another model, the way of implementation will make the difference here. As simple as working with the waterfall model. What is the first drawback of waterfall model? First drawback of waterfall model, step by step. As a very simple understanding, the main drawback and the first drawback of waterfall model, we need to be get mentioning the step by step. I mean, while working with waterfall model, till the time of development is not done, we cannot go with the testing. Not like only development testing. One particular phase has to be totally completed, then only we need to be get start with the next phase here. That is the one major drawback we got while working with waterfall model. At the same time, what is another drawback? Second drawback of waterfall model. Any major issues has been identified, need to start from first phase here. In case of any major issues has been identified, it's need to be get started from the first phase here. So the one we got in a drawback while working with waterfall model. What is another drawback? Time consuming or time taking. While working this particular waterfall model, any project implemented, which it will be taking with the more time to complete that particular project. To get overcome all these particular drawbacks, taking with the help of V model, we can consider as a V model, or what is another name? What is another name? For the V model, what is another name? Verification and validation. We can consider as a V model, or we can mention that verification and validation here. In that verification activities taken care by developer. Validation activities taken care by tester. As simple as this particular verification, either it has been done in the correct way or not. Developer writing with the code, not like only writing with the code. Once it got right with the code, either it has been done in a proper way or not, need to be get verified on it. At the same time, we got a tester. Tester has been taking care about either that application or that functionality done in the correct way or not, need to be get confirmed that. We can consider that V model, or we can consider that verification and validation here. That particular V model, we got its own advantages, having with the drawbacks here. Considering with advantages, what is the first advantage of V model? What is the first advantage? Development activities and testing activities started at day one of the project. So as simple as while working this particular V model, on day one itself, development activities will be started. At the same time, it will be getting started with testing activity. Considering that tester doesn't require to wait. Tester doesn't require to wait till the time of development need to be done. From the day one itself, development need to be started and testing need to be get started. That is one advantage we got. What is another advantage? What is it? Possibility of identifying the issues in starting stages. Meaning of starting stages? As early as possible. The meaning of starting stages, we need to be get considering that as early as possible. I mean, while working this V model, developer has been developing the application. On which basis developer will develop application? Based on requirement document. Tester will be testing the application. On which basis it will be done? Based on requirement document. For the development team and testing team, requirement document is same or different? Same or different? Same. As requirement document has been same, these particular both people working together, both the people will communicate together. As both the people has been communicating together, they can understand the requirements in more better way. If they got understand the requirement, chances of not like mandatory, chances of identifying with the issues in starting stages. That is what we got, considering that taking care about the main advantage of V model. So while working this particular V model, there is a possibility in identifying with the issues in starting stages. We got advantages, at the same time we got a drawback. What is the first drawback of V model? What is it? Dependency on documentation. That particular dependency on documentation, considering that at any cost, requirement documents need to be available here. I mean, as simple as considering that for developing the application or testing the application, as part of this V model, it's mandatory of requirement documents, and they will be having more dependency on requirement documents here. At the same time, we got another drawback. What is another drawback? Yeah. Completed, huh? Uh-huh. What is the second drawback? Client need to wait for more time for seeing the project visibility in live environment. So what exactly meaning of that particular statement? The meaning of that particular statement is, according to our process, we got understand that developer has been completing all that particular development activity, and then they will be converted all the code into .exe file. That particular .exe file will deployed in the server. We are using with the terminology considering that build here. What is the meaning of the build? Meaning of the build? Executable file. So the meaning of the build we used to be get considering the executable file. Now see the drawback. Build 1 released to testing team. Testing team has been started doing the testing on build 1. Okay. Build 1 testing completed. After that, build 2 has been released from development team. Testing team has been started doing with the testing for build 2. Build 2 also completed, then build 3 has been released. Once build 3 has been released, build 3 also testing by the testing team. Now see the understanding here. See the terminology. Build 1 released. Build 1 testing completed. See the terminology. Build 1 released. Build 1 testing started. Build 1 testing completed. Build 2 released. Build 2 testing started and build 2 testing completed. Are we saying build testing completed or whole testing is completed? What are you mentioning? Build test is completed. Build 1 testing completed. Build 2 testing completed. Build 3 testing completed. Or build 4 testing completed. Not like the whole application testing is completed. See the terminology. Build 1 release. Build 1 testing completed. Build 2 released. Build 2 testing completed. Build 3 released. Build 3 testing completed. It will take a number of builds. There is no limit. It can be build 100. It can be build 200 or 50. It's totally depends on that project. Based on that particular project, it depends on how many builds need to be done. Now, the main drawback of V model, build 1 testing completed. Because of build 1 testing completed, it is not moving into live environment. See the understanding. We are saying that build 1 testing completed. Because of that build 1 testing is completed, it is not moving into live environment. When it will be moving into live environment, it has to complete all the builds here and all the testings need to be completed. After that, it will be moving into live environment. So for completion of all these things, for completion of all these particular things, it will be taking with the more time. For completion of all these particular things, it will be taking with the more time. Like based on requirement, it may take 1 year, it may take 6 months, some projects 2 years also. It's totally depends on that requirement. So the client has to wait for more time to see his project in the live environment. So after 1 year, project moved into the live. Once it has been moved into live environment, if all the things are working, okay, no issues at all. In case of any functionalities not working, what we have been done for the whole year, not like that much of use. Again, rework need to be done. So this is what having with the drawback of V model. So the one drawback we are considering the dependency on documentation. Another drawback, client has to wait for more time to see the project visibility in the live environment. So this is what we got in a drawback of V model. Whatever the drawbacks we got in V model or waterfall model, all the drawbacks we got overcome in another model. What is that model? What is it? Agile. So take with the new heading. Take with the new heading is Agile. Online students also take with the new heading is Agile. Right. See that. Very interesting one and the very most important one here. In this current market, in this particular current market, waterfall model you can consider as outdated. V model also you can consider as a outdated. In this current market, in this particular current market, waterfall model, V model, you can consider that it has been outdated. The maximum of projects implemented in Agile only. You may get in a doubt, sir, you are saying that waterfall model is outdated and V model is outdated. If those two models has been outdated, why you are explaining and why you are saying that to learn those two models here? Those two models here. As is already outdated, what make you the reason of learning those two things and we done with those two models here? What is the reason? To know the drawbacks, okay. As already it is outdated, what is the use of knowing the drawbacks? Agile is the latest one. No, my question is, I'm clearly saying that waterfall outdated. V model also consider outdated. If those two models has been outdated, why we have been discussing those two models? As part of the course content, it is mentioned, sir, we are discussing. Then, see the understanding. Very simple reason. It has been outdated for the current market, but not like outdated for your interview here. In interviews, definitely will get in a question. What is the question you will get? Explain waterfall model, explain V model. 100%, not like 99. 100% will get in a questions related to the waterfall model and related to the V model. So even though it has been outdated for real time, you need to be get aware of that interview purpose. Not like only interview purpose, real time outdated. But as a employee, you have to aware of that. What are all those models here? When you're working in the real time, in case of anyone using these terminologies, you need to be get comfortable in understanding it. So that is what we have been taking care about waterfall model and V model. Apart from that, we have to take care about the main important one and the very most important one for IT, considering the Agile. Let's understand. This particular Agile, a very rare cases, it will be. What is the discussion going on? Wife and husband discussion going on there. You two only. You only. T-shirt. Today you came to the session? Okay. What is that? Agile. Considering this particular Agile, in interviews, you will be getting with the question. I mean, a very rare cases, you will be getting with the question directly asking that explain Agile process or explain Agile model. Rather than that, you can expect the questions related to terminology of Agile here. Rather than they're asking in a question, explain Agile model, you may expect that question. But apart from that, particularly while working with the Agile, you will be getting with the question and asking that what are the terminologies or what are the terms related to Agile. So Agile is not like in a very small concept or it's not like in a very small subject. Agile itself is a 2 months of training program. It's not like in a very small concept here. Agile itself in a 2 months of training program, but we are not looking into that level. The 2 months of training program will be taken care by test lead or project manager. Those guys will be taking care about doing Agile certifications. For doing Agile certification, they have to do this Agile training program. But for your level, as a fresher level or experience of 3 to 4 years of experience, what are the terminologies has been required, those things will be looking into that. Let's see here. Now, the very first understanding, as part of real-time standards, always we used to be prefer to consider as Agile process. We can consider as a model also, but rather than model, what we'll prefer? Agile process. We can consider as a model. Rather than considering as a model, the preference will be saying that Agile process. Like any knowledge on Agile process, explain Agile process, or you working on Agile process, very regularly you will be using with the terminology saying that Agile process here. Okay. Now, in this Agile process, the very first terminology and the very most important terminology for Agile, the very first terminology and very most important terminology saying that mentioning about, what is it? What is it? Scrum Master, Dance Master? Scrum Master or Dance Master? Scrum Master. Scrum Master is the very important role. Scrum Master is playing a very important role to handle the whole Agile project and Agile process. To handle the whole Agile project, the Scrum Master is playing with a very important role here. This particular Scrum Master has been taking care about in handling the whole Agile project or implementing the whole Agile process here. Okay. Right. So this particular Scrum Master, don't be confused here. As simple as we are saying that developer is one job role, tester is one job role, BA is one job role. In a similar way, Scrum Master also considering as a one particular job role here. How we are saying that developer is one job, testing is one job. In a similar way, Scrum Master also one particular job role here. As simple as if we consider our testing, in case of tester, what is the designation you will get? In case of tester, what is the first designation you will have? What is the first designation? Software test engineer. That is the first one. After that, what is it? Senior software test engineer. After that, test lead. After that, what is it? Manager. After that, senior test manager. After that, associate director. After that, vice president. After that, will take rest, sir. Okay. I mean, as simple as you started your career as a tester. Once you are working as a tester for 2 years or 3 years, you have been promoted into the next level considering as a senior tester. Try to apply the same here also. You got in a job role of BA. Assume that you are working as a BA. Once you work as a BA for 2 years or 3 years, you got in a possibility promoting into the next level, that you will be considering the Scrum Master. Tester, senior tester, similar role. BA, Scrum Master, similar role here. For the BA, next level, you can considering the Scrum Master. So what exactly the job role of the Scrum Master? What he has to do it? Let's see here. This particular Scrum Master need to be communicating with, to me need to communicate, client. Scrum Master need to be communicating with the client and then taking care about in doing requirements gathering. The Scrum Master has to be taking care about communicating with the client. He will discuss with the client and then he will try to gather all the requirements from the client here. Once he got gathered all the requirements from the client, all that particular requirements has been delivered to another person, that will be considering the project manager. As simple as you can consider that the job role of Scrum Master, he need to be communicating with client. Once he was communicating with the client, what he has to do? Communicating the client means what he has to do? Is it he will discuss about what is the lunch you done, what is the dinner you done? No. What is the discussion? What is it? Requirements. The Scrum Master has to discuss about, so client, let's explain what exactly your business, what exactly the software you require, as simple as need to be get asking about the requirement. So client will explain all the requirement. If we look into all the requirement, all that particular requirements gathered from the client and that requirements delivered to project manager. So as simple as how you can understand the job role of the Scrum Master in a very simple way. The job role of the Scrum Master is mediator between onshore and offshore. The main job role of Scrum Master, mediator between onshore and offshore. Heard about onshore, offshore? Meaning of onshore? As simple as meaning of onshore, client location. Like sometimes some of your friends or relatives, they will be sending your WhatsApp status or taking with the pic saying that moving to US. Having that kind of friends? So we'll be having some friends or some people will say that I have been joined in this company. From this particular company, I'm just moving to the on-site here. So moving to that on-site is from that particular company, he will be moving to the client location. From there, he will be working it. So that is what he will be saying, that onshore. The meaning of onshore is client location. Meaning of offshore is company location here. Onshore means client location. Offshore is company location. In which company you are working, that will be considering the offshore here. So as simple as considering with the Scrum Master, the job role of the Scrum Master. What is the job role of the Scrum Master? Mediator between what is it? Onshore and offshore. Meaning of onshore? Client location. Meaning of offshore? Company location. Okay. So once he got gathered all the requirement, this project manager having the discussion with the Scrum Master, and they need to start documenting it. Because Scrum Master client having the discussion meetings, not like documenting anything. This particular Scrum Master project manager having the discussion related to requirement, they need to start documenting that particular requirement. For documenting that requirement, whatever that requirements has been documented, that he will be using one more particular terminology considering the product backlog. So one is project manager and another one is product backlog. The meaning of product backlog. The meaning of product backlog. We need to be get considering the high level requirement. We need to be get considering the high level requirement, or we can consider the high level design, or we can mention the high level document. Don't be confused. As simple as project manager communicating with the Scrum Master, taking care about requirement. All the requirements he got, he was documenting. Whatever he was documenting, that particular document name, what do you consider? What do you consider? Product backlog. We are considering as a product backlog. Meaning of the product backlog? Meaning of product backlog. High level requirement. Let's understand in a more detailed way. So what exactly mean by all these particular things? So further, just make a note of some points. To understand all these particular process. Just make a note of these points. Just make a note of up to this. Having a heading is product backlog 1. Product backlog 1, login, high level requirement. Under that, Epic 1, login into application. Under that, user story 1, description, and that particular step. Online students also make a note of up to that highlighted one. It will make you easy understanding. Online students also make a note of these points up to highlighted one. Did you guys got the link of Google Classroom? No. Not required all the things. Just up to this. Done, right? Okay, right. See the understanding here. First, let me complete the terminology. Then we'll look into the example. It will make you easy understanding. See the concept. First thing, Scrum Master. What is the job role of the Scrum Master? Mediator between onshore and offshore. Meaning of onshore? Client location. Meaning of offshore? company location. He has to take care about gathering with the requirement. Those particular requirements need to be delivered to project manager. This project manager, he will start documenting. Documenting means in one Word file or Excel, he will document some requirement. Whatever the things he was documented, that particular Word file, rather than we are calling as a Word file, according to the terminology of Agile, we used to be get considered as a product backlog. Everything you will understand. For now, you can just remember that the meaning of product backlog. What is the meaning of product backlog? High level requirements. We can consider high level requirements, or we can consider in that high level design, or we can consider high level document. Okay. At the same time, from this product backlog, we got one more terminology. From the product backlog, we got one more terminology considering the user stories. What is it? User stories. Meaning of user stories. The meaning of user stories need to be get considering the low level requirement. Meaning of user stories need to be get considering the low level requirement. So one is product backlog, another one is user stories. The meaning of user stories. What is the meaning of user stories? Low level requirements. Okay. Or what we can consider? Low level design, or we can mention that low level document. What is the meaning of that? You will understand. For now, see the hierarchy. First is Scrum Master. From the Scrum Master, we got project manager. From the project manager, or this project manager need to be get coming up with product backlog. From the product backlog, we got user stories. Based on user stories, we got sprint plan. What is it? Sprint plan. Based on product backlog, user stories will be done. Based on user stories, sprint plan will be done. The general meaning of sprint. If interviewer is asking that what is mean by sprint, if interviewer is asking that what is mean by sprint, we can consider in the process. So what is the meaning of the sprint? Process here. Okay. So this particular sprint, this sprint plan need to be done. Based on sprint plan, according to the plan, it will be taking with sprint release. First plan need to be done. According to that particular plan, release need to be done. That particular release, considering the sprint 1 and then taking with sprint 2, and it will be continued with that particular respective sprint. So this is one particular standards. As part of Agile, we got considering the Scrum Master, Project Manager, Product Backlog. Meaning of Product Backlog? high level requirement. From the product backlog, what we got? User stories. Meaning of user stories? Low level requirement. So from the user stories, what is the next one? Sprint plan. From the plan, what need to be done? Sprint release. So that release done by the sprint wise here. So that particular release, it has been done by the sprint wise, considering the sprint 1, sprint 2, sprint 3, that it will be continued here. So let's understand in a very detailed way. Now, see that you're working one project. Assume that you're working one of the project in Agile. When you're working with the project on Agile, what your project manager will be doing is, he will provide you product backlog here. Meaning of the product backlog? High level requirements. See the example for product backlog. See the example. So I'm just taking an example of one project just for understanding banking. In the product backlog 1, what is the backlog 1 we got? Login. That is one product backlog. Another product backlog. What is that? Profile. One more product backlog. After that, we got another one. What is it? Transfer. So we got three things here. So the one you will be considering that, taking with login, after that profile, after that transfer. As simple as if you understand this mention just only login. Is there any detailed information provided there? So here it is just written login only. It is just written profile. It is just written as a transfer here. I mean the requirement which is like high level, not like they have been provided detailed description. That is what you are considering, that high level requirement. So the meaning of high level requirement, considering that provided in a very high level, not like into very detail. So those things you are considering as a product backlog. From the product backlog, what you will get? From the product backlog, what you will get? What is the next one? What is it? User story. Now see your simple understanding. What is the backlog one we got? Login. That is a product backlog. That is one requirement. For that requirement, based on that requirement, user story. User story 1 need to log in into application. User story 2 login into application only. But user story 1 login as employer. User story 2 login as customer. I mean, little bit they got provided some information. Product backlog, they mentioned only login, high level. This user story, they have been provided detailed information, what need to be done. So they are clearly mentioning that one user story need to log in into application as employer. Another one need to log in into application as customer. Very simple example, guys. The best understanding. Let's take your textbooks. You have been referred a number of textbooks here. When you refer any textbook, what you will have in the first page? What you will have in the first page? Index will be there. All the chapter names will be there. There or not? All the chapter name. That whole first page, what you can consider? Not user story. What you can consider? Product backlog. All that first page, you can consider product backlog. Just you got the chapter name only. Chapter 1, 2, 3. For that chapter, you will refer the respective page. If you go to that page number, what you will able to see there? All the content, all the description. For that particular chapter name, all the description available in that particular page that you can consider as a user story. That is what the meaning of high level, low level. So high level means it has been provided in a very high level. Low level means some description has been provided that you will be considering as a low level. So product backlog, high level requirement, user story, low level requirement. In between, if required, we got an option of epic also. That is also will be considering as a requirements only. Product backlog requirement, epic requirement, user story requirement. All these things are considering as a requirement only. According to the Agile, we got in a different terminologies here. Okay. Now, for this product backlog, how many user stories we got? 2 user story. Just for only login requirement, we got in a 2 user stories here. So similar to that, for whole application or for that application, there is a chance of you will be having a number of user stories will be available. Now assume that, just an example, you got 100 user stories. Just an example, you got 100 user stories. Can we complete all 100 user stories in one day? Can we complete in one day? Is it possible? Possible or not? Or else no service, we are full stack developer will do in one day. Done or not? Yes or no, guys? No, not at all possible. Even though you done with full stack Java developer also, not at all possible to develop all that 100 user stories in one day. It will take some time. How much time it has been required, when it has to be started, when it has to be completed, first which user story, in the last what is the user story, what is the order of the user story, all this particular plan need to be done. So that particular process only you are using the terminology. What is the terminology? Sprint plan. So what Scrum Master is doing, all these things taken care by Scrum Master. So what Scrum Master will do, he will understand that what are the user stories are available. Based on that particular user stories, Scrum Master will be coming up with plan, saying that we got 100 user stories. First we'll work 10 user stories. After that 5 user stories. After that 15 user stories. That plan has been done by this particular Scrum Master only. Okay. Now, once plan has been done, according to the plan, what need to be done? According to the plan, what need to be done? Sprint release need to be done. That release done by sprint wise. That release need to be done by sprint wise. As simple as first plan, according to the plan, release, that release done by the sprint wise. Okay. Now, according to this agile process, this particular sprint, taking care with the duration. What is the duration? What is the duration of the sprint 1? 2 weeks. Not only sprint 1. While working with the agile, any sprint you are working, you will be working with the duration of 2 weeks here. Always they will work with 2 weeks only. If required, it may go with 4 weeks, or if required, it will be taking with 6 weeks. Maximum of 6 weeks here. It may go with 2 weeks or taking with 4 weeks or taking with 6 weeks here. But as simple as any interviewer is asking that what is your sprint duration? What you will mention? What is the duration you will mention? 2 weeks. Very straightforward. You can mention that 2 weeks here. In this particular 2 weeks, what are the things need to be done? Say that. In this particular 2 weeks, taking care about requirements understanding from the developer and then tester. Developer has to understand the requirement. Tester also need to understand the requirement. Developer has to understand the requirement and tester also need to understand the requirement. Okay. And then after that, developer, what need to be done? Taking care about coding. After that, tester, what need to be done? What need to be done? Testing. Once testing has been done, now you can understand the advantage of Agile. Once sprint 1 related to sprint 1, requirements has been done, coding has been done, testing has been done, and then it will be moving into live environment or production. See the drawback of V model. In the V model, what is the second drawback you written? Client need to wait for more time for seeing project visibility in live environment. But in case of Agile, within 2 weeks, he was able to see that how his application is working in live environment. Not like whole project. Whole project cannot be done in the 2 weeks here. But for the 2 weeks, assume that login page. Within the 2 weeks, login page developed, login page tested, and then moved into live environment. Once it has been moved into live environment, the client will see that. Not like original live environment, but how it will be displaying, it will have the same environment will be there. So by that, client will look into that. In case of any modifications need to be done, client will be suggesting that what kind of the modifications need to be done here. So that is what you got an advantage while working with this particular Agile. Within 2 weeks, we was able to see that that application has been moved into live environment here. Okay. And after that, once sprint 1 has been done, what is the next one? Taking with sprint 2. Again sprint 2, what is the duration? Sprint 2, what is the duration? Taking with 2 weeks only. Any sprint you are working, it will be working with the duration of 2 weeks here. Okay. In this particular 2 weeks, again what need to be done? First is requirements understanding from developer and tester. After that, what is it? Coding. After that, testing. After that, live environment or production. So further, whatever it has been modded, it will be taking into that particular live environment or taking into production here. So this is how we got a possibility in taking care about implementing with these particular things. So once sprint 2 has been completed, sprint 2 has been released, again it will go with sprint 3, sprint 4, sprint 5, till the time of that application has to be completed, it will be continue with multiple sprints. As simple as if you want to understand in a very simple way, in case of waterfall model, V model, we are using the terminology BA. Meaning of BA? Business analyst. What is the job role of BA? Requirements only. Now see the understanding. Waterfall model, V model, BA. Agile, in a place of BA, we are using the terminologies Scrum Master. Waterfall model, V model. We got requirement document, BRS document, SRS document. Meaning of BRS? Business Requirement Specification. Meaning of SRS? Software Requirement Specification. Same thing as it is. Same thing when it's come to Agile. In a place of BRS, mention that. In a place of BRS, you will be mentioning the product backlog. In a place of SRS, what you will mention? User story. Terminologies are making different here. So according to that model, the way of terminologies will make you different. In case of waterfall model, V model, you to meetings here. While working Agile, you have to take care about meetings also. There are n number of meetings are there, considering the status meeting, and then consider stand-up meeting, and then considering the mentioning about Scrum meeting. Status meeting, stand-up meeting, Scrum meeting. As a tester or developer, we have to aware of that. What is mean by the status meeting? What is the meaning of stand-up meeting? And then taking with Scrum meeting. So this is the one we have to understand. After that, we have to take care about one more concept that we will be taking with working hours. As part of Agile, how that working hours will be done, that we need to be looking into that. So the one we will be mentioning about, saying that stand-up meeting, status, first is stand-up meeting. Not status. First is stand-up meeting. After that, they will be have status meeting. The general hierarchy. First is stand-up meeting. After that, you will have status meeting, and then taking with Scrum meeting. There are a lot of other things are there, but at least we have to aware of that. What is the meaning of this particular thing? And we have to take care about working hours. So these two things we have to discuss. That I'll be discussing it. So once we have been done these two things, then I'll be stopping with SDLC models. Then we'll be getting started with, what is it? SDLC. Meaning of SDLC? Software testing life cycle. That is what we'll be taking the project testing. Project testing means not like 1 month is theory, second month is a project. So this week we'll be getting started with the project. Not like this week. If possible from tomorrow, I'll try to complete this Agile part. And then from tomorrow, we'll be taking with the project and we'll start implementing all that particular activities here. So from tomorrow, you will be getting some assignments to work on related to the testing also. So see that how you can make your calendars little bit free for the practice here. As you're already working with, doing other trainings also, but here also you have to take the practice. So mine, definitely practice need to be done. All the things I will explain. What are the softwares need to install, how to practice it, all the information I'll provide, but look into your calendars, how you can spend with the time in doing the practice. In the meanwhile, just take care about all these three models here, and if possible, see that it can get added to Google Classroom here. Okay? Clear? Carry on. Thank you. Online students,